The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena. This is a quote by Theodor Roosevelt from a speech in 1910. That is to stop worrying, stop comparing yourself to others, and start taking action towards the things which you want to achieve. If you're new to my channel, my name is Jenna. I am a small business owner and tutor, and I love all things productivity, time management, and resource optimization. If this is the type of content that you're interested in, you may want to drop a subscribe. Now let's get into it. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error or shortcoming, but who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who, at the best, knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who, at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who knew neither victory nor defeat. A few key things I think we can take away from this speech is that we need to stop comparing ourselves with others and putting others down, and rather to direct the focus inward as we embark on our own personal journeys. Also realizing that in order to achieve amazing things, you need to put in the time, you need to put in the effort and work smart in order to achieve those things. Don't just envision things, create them. It's so easy to get caught up in the frills of our imagination. What will it look like when I've achieved this thing? How will I feel once I've done A, B, and C? Building good and healthy habits, directing your focus inward to discover what is your work ethic like, what are your morals and your values, and how do they align with that end goal? Seeing how the people that you surround yourself with, how do they uplift you and how do they help you work towards your dreams? All of this is part of the create phase. The create phase lays the groundwork, while envisioning has more of a focus on the end goal. And it's that intermediary steps of how do we align the creation steps with the envisioning at the end and filling that gap. That is what's going to create an amazing end result. Stop waiting for perfection. I'm sure we've all experienced this when we just want things to be ideal before we start working on that relationship, moving on to the next step towards our fitness goals, obtaining that particular academic result. We want things to be easy and comfortable, but those are difficult things to achieve, things that require a lot of effort. So even in the times when you don't really feel like it, you need to have the discipline to do it in those moments as well, because cumulatively, it's consistency that's going to help you achieve those results, not just waiting for the ideal moments and then putting all the efforts in those moments. Worrying is actually holding you back. Worrying is when we fixate on having this control of an idea. I need to do this. I need to think about that. I need to write this down. And you're basically flooding your brain with things surrounding what you want to do. And this worrying is actually a form of procrastination. That is dilly-dally and relaying tasks, postponing tasks. And what that does is it steals time that can be used towards actually doing the activity you need to do. So if you need to think about your activity, have a second brain, a place where you do a brain dump. Oh, something comes to your head, just quickly jot it down on a piece of paper. Release it, let it go. Because the sooner that it's out of your head, the more mental clarity you will have to actually get started on the activities you need to do. You need to be your biggest fan. Nobody else has the same goals and ambitions as you do. So you need to have the confidence to believe that what you are doing every day, the small actions that you are taking, that will help you achieve your end result. You can't be reliant on other people like your peers, your teachers, or your friends to get you there. You need to know, this is my journey. I have the will, I've got the power to achieve it. And once you have that mental shift, everything will change. Because if you don't achieve something, then it's as a result of your doing. I know that sounds really harsh to say, but often in life we hold ourselves back. We put those mental barriers. We have so much dependence on other people, but they are on their own little missions, their own paths. So working on yourself and doing the things that you need to do is going to get you where you want to be. Get that focus. It's all on you. Your ambitions, your work, your goals, your actionable steps. It's all dependent on you. Stop comparing yourself with others. Your friend, your sibling, your neighbor, they all have different aspirations and places where they want to end up someday. So the steps that they take are not going to be identical to yours. You also need to realize that people have different backgrounds, and this can really influence the direction that people intend to follow or the steps that they will be taking, because it's a personal journey. Define your goals and track your progress towards achieving them. I've spoken about goal setting in previous videos, and this is to set realistic expectations of yourself and things that you're going to be working towards. Now, you need to set a date on this. So don't just say, I want to achieve an A in mathematics, because it's almost like a floating idea. Rather say to yourself, by the end of term 2, I would like to progress to a B, or have a 5% improvement from the previous term. Because by doing that, you are giving yourself a time period that you can have at the back of your mind when you're working towards it, and it's realistic. You cannot be at a code 2 for maths and say at the end of the term you want to be at a code 7, because maths is something that requires a lot of practice. So you have to keep these kinds of things in the back of your mind. That's also a way that you can track your progress, by setting these intervals where you can do the evaluation. Setting something now that you want to achieve at the end of the year, it's not giving you a path to follow. It's giving you, this is where you are, that's where you want to be. And it's not guiding you on the stepping stones that's going to take you there. And how all of these points tie into the quote by Theodor Roosevelt, and that is, you are going to achieve the recognition and the satisfaction by putting in the hard work. Remember what it said, the credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena. So by you making the effort, by sticking to your plan, you are going to be the one who achieves it. Not your friend, because they've got different ambitions. Not by saying, oh, but this person didn't do it, so I don't need to do it. Not by comparing yourself. So I think having this quote at the back of your mind, it's going to motivate you as to why you started. What are you working towards? And I think that's absolutely amazing. And that brings us to the end of today's video. If you've enjoyed this discussion, please consider dropping a thumbs up. I'll see you in the next one, and thank you so much for watching.